All right, the Hunter Biden jury dismissed for the day. They're going to take another crack at this tomorrow morning and decide the fate of one Hunter Biden. We've got Julia Manchester here, the Hill National Politics reporter, Doug Schoen, the former Clinton advisor, Democratic strategist and pollster. I'd like to ask you both on the Hunter Biden issue whether it could be a campaign issue for the president. Now, he's one step removed. This is his son, who could be a convicted felon, after all, when all is said and done. Donald Trump already is. But I'm wondering whether either has any impact on this race as things stand now. Doug, what do you think?
Well, I think if Hunter Biden is convicted, particularly as it will happen, if it indeed happens, before the debate on the 27th, it gives Trump a compelling rebuttal to the argument that, as Biden said, he's a convicted felon. He says, well, look, you lied about your son, you lied about the laptop, it wasn't Russian disinformation, and it really muddles an already complicated situation. Bottom line, I think it would marginally help Trump, but in the end, I think it'll be issues, Neil, rather than criminal convictions that decides this election.
And also whether people are jazzed, right, Julia? I'm thinking of James Carville over the weekend on a radio show saying he's certainly not jazzed by the choices, and the fact that Joe Biden decided to run for re-election. Didn't really get into the Hunter Biden stuff, but he did bemoan the fact that young people just aren't into this contest and aren't into Joe Biden, more specifically, a base that Democrats typically could reliably go back to. Not this time. What did you make of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for one, the Israel-Hamas war is really playing negatively with young voters, and they are very much bemoaning President Biden's handling of that war. You know, we are seeing these, images coming out of that war, and it's not playing well for the Biden administration in terms of the handling, in terms of how young people look at it. That young people are starting to, lean more to the pro-Palestinian side of this, and they are expressing those sympathies, and those sympathies really aren't reflecting, on the Biden administration. On top of that, you also have other, constituencies that aren't happy with the Biden administration and the handling of the war, including the Arab American constituency in the swing state of Michigan, for example. But for young people, that's an issue for Democrats because they are very much a part of that Democrat, turnout in some of these swing states and just generally across the map.
Doug, it's still early, but I'm surprised the race remains as tight as it is with all of Joe Biden's problems. Now, a lot of that could owe to the fact, obviously, the legal issues that former President Trump's been dealing with. But you can't afford to lose or risk losing a part of your base, or you frustrate so many of them that they're just not inclined to turn out and vote. Do you expect, a lower voter turnout as a percentage of eligible voters than what we got last go-round?
I think we are expecting a lower turnout, at least I am, and particularly because minorities, younger people, as Julia was saying, are moving away from Biden. I think there'll be some defections to Trump, but I think a lot of people are just going to stay home and say, between these two, I really don't have a choice. Ultimately, I think, given the numbers you're putting on the screen now, that will probably play to Trump's advantage because I think his base is more energized than Biden's. But this is a close election. I think it'll be a close election up until Election Day. Trump does have an advantage, but it's an advantage that could turn around, though right now I'd have to say he's in a much stronger position than he was 4 years ago.
Julia, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm just looking at that image of the Virginia Fox News poll on the screen, 48% tied in that state. I think that's indicative of a lack of enthusiasm in the state of Virginia, which should be a blue state at the presidential level, at least. And we know a few years ago, Governor Glenn Youngkin flipped that state, but Democrats have been carrying that state for, in recent history. So, it could be that Trump is garnering some enthusiasm in Virginia, but, I look at Northern Virginia, for example, a liberal Democratic bastion. That should be easy for someone like Biden. And when I see 48-48, that just shows low enthusiasm. And if it's happening in a state like Virginia, strategists point out to me it's probably happening in, even more swing states, like a Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, et cetera.
We shall see. Julia, final word. Doug, good seeing you again.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.